friends, my name is Shayla and today I'm here to do a recommendations video for you. As you guys know, the Manga Love Readathon is coming up very shortly. It's coming next weekend, and so here is my recommendation video for all of you. Throughout this video though, I will be leaving various recommendation videos throughout the cards. There will be 5 in total, in which I have recommended a bunch of other titles that I really love and don't always talk about passionately on the channel. So I'm going to leave those linked throughout this video, and then all of the ones that I am mentioning are not mentioned in that video. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm giving you guys a ton of recommendations. Feel free to choose whatever makes you happy at that point. And let's just dive right in. So first up on this list, we have Eden Zero Volume 1. This is a shonen that is currently ongoing. It currently has 5 volumes published at the filming of this video, but by the time the readathon starts, there should be 6 volumes out. So in this, we're following a young man named Shiki, and Shiki was raised on a planet kind of by himself with a bunch of robots, and is rumored to be something that is kind of spoilery, so I won't share what that is. And then we have Becky here. Becky is basically this world's equivalent of a vlogger, and she's got her happy robot cat. And this is a sci-fi. It all takes place in space, floating around to various planets. Becky shows up on Shiki's planet, kind of as a resort, and the adventure starts from there. This does have a lot of notes of friendship like Fairy Tail does, but it also goes to deeper and darker places than Fairy Tail was ever really truly willing to go. So I really recommend this. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed reading Fairy Tail for sure. So definitely something worth giving a try. Next up on the list is The Water Dragon's Bride. This one's by Ray Toma. And in this one, we're following a young woman named Asai. As a child, she falls into the pond at her home and is essentially transported into another period in time. And they kind of don't know what to do with her. She's got this brilliant hair, she stands out, and some people feel threatened by her. So what ends up happening is she ends up sacrificed to the water dragon god. And in doing so, the water dragon god will typically just kind of throw away the sacrifices after a couple of days, and, you know, they're washed back up on shore and they're no longer alive. But instead, he keeps Asai alive and actually takes her on as his bride, and so she has to go and visit him, I believe, once a year for a certain number of days or something. I don't remember the semantics of that. But anyways, it's about them building a relationship together. And there's another friend that Asai has that's a human friend in the historical time that is a potential romantic partner as well. So it does have some of that love triangle stuff to it, but this is a brilliant romantic fantasy in shoujo, and I strongly recommend this one. Next up, we have The Train Man. This is the seinen version of The Train Man. When this came out, there were 4 different versions, one for each demographic. I haven't read any of the others, but I adore this seinen one. Essentially, it's about this guy who has a username called The Train Man. He just feels like he's the regular guy on the train. He ends up helping this really pretty girl on the train, and he wants to pursue kind of a romantic relationship, but he doesn't know what to do. So he turns to this online forum of friends. You know, obviously they're all anonymous, and it's all about them like rooting him on and encouraging him on this dating aspect with the girl from the train. And it's so cute. I laughed out loud so hard reading this series. It's 3 volumes long. It is an older title, so it might be hard to find, but if you can find it, I definitely recommend it. Next up, we have Haikyuu. This is one of the only true sports manga that I've ever read, but I'm absolutely in love with it. I never thought I could care so much about a boys' volleyball team, if I'm totally and completely honest, but I adore all of these boys so very much. So we primarily follow 2 teens, Kageyama and Hinata. They were rivals in their first volleyball match against each other, and then they end up on the same team and they have to learn how to work together. It's fantastic. It's so good. The art panels are amazing, and most people have probably read this by now. I'm pretty late to the party when it comes to Haikyuu, but I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. Next on the list, we have The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe. This is kind of an eerie little story. We have a little girl named Shiva, and Shiva is quote unquote on the outside or away from other humans, living with the outsiders, these black creatures that have a tendency to cause death wherever they go, and most of the outsiders don't live very long. But this particular outsider, Shiva calls teacher, and he kind of takes her in and cares for her and does everything in his power to not touch her, because he's afraid if he touches her that she will become an outsider and all of these things. It's really interesting. I highly suggest people check this out. The art style is very unique for most manga that I read, and most manga that most people see, at least. And I just adore this. And it's a slow moving story, so if you're expecting something action packed, this is not the right story for you. This will come across more slow paced, slice of lifey, but there's definitely some creepy and eerie things going on in the background. So I really recommend this one. I can't recommend it enough, honestly. I'm not sure when we're getting the next volume. I want to say March. I think it's still a little ways away. But yes, definitely love this. Next up is one that I'm surprised wasn't in any of those recommendation videos, and that is Connie and Hana. I love Connie and Hana. This is an age gap romance in which we have Connie, who is mid-20s, executive in a company, kind of spoon-fed his entire life. It keeps getting prompted to attend marriage interviews to find a potential bride. And one of the people in his company is supposed to bring his early 20s daughter to this meeting. The daughter refuses to go, so he brings his high school age daughter, Hana, to the marriage meeting. At this marriage meeting, Hana basically gets into Kane's face, calls him out on his bad behavior, and walks out. So the dad's still deathly afraid of losing his job, but Kane at this point is intrigued. So they embark on this banter of who can make the other surrender first. So it's full of shenanigans. It's really funny, very innocent. It's 13 volumes in right now. And this is one of those age gaps that's just innocent and humorous more than like creepy and icky. So I highly recommend. This is one of my favorite age gaps to recommend because the humor is usually what wins people over with this one. Because I feel like because Takane is so immature, you forget there's that age gap. So they kind of meet each other in the middle on maturity, and it just ends up flowing into this beautiful, fun thing that is Takane and Hana. I did pick up volume 13 today, and I plan on reading it soon. Maybe for Manga Love Readathon if I don't read it before, but definitely during. And yes, highly recommend. Next up is a newer one that only has 2 volumes out right now, but I love recommending that. And it is The Way of the House Husband. This one is by Konosuke Uno, is how I want to say the name. Anyways, this is about a man who is ex-Yakuza. He used to be a leader of a Yakuza gang known as the Immortal Dragon. And as the Immortal Dragon, he had quite the reputation. But he's retired from Yakuza life. He is now married. His wife is the breadwinner, and he's the house husband. So this is about him on his house husband adventures, about how little bits of the Yakuza still kind of try to sneak into his life, and just his life with his wife and his cat, and it's fantastic. I absolutely love this. The humor in this is what wins me over for sure, and the art style is absolutely lovely. And I mean, look at that back tattoo. I mean, come on. It's fantastic. Highly recommend. Next up is another one that I think I just haven't done a recommendation video in a while, and that's why this one's not in one, and that is Magus of the Library. In Magus of the Library, we are dealing with this young man. His name is Theo, and Theo loves to read, but because he is a mixed breed, he's like half human and half elf in this world. I forget technically what he's called, but he's not allowed to go into the library, but he wants to become a magus of the library, or like a librarian for the big whole library chain in their world. And he meets a magus of the library, and they inspire him, and the art is absolutely stunning. I mean, come on. How can you not want to read something? This is a book lover's dream one of my all-time favorites, and we are getting volume 3 next week, but I'm not sure if I'll read it during Manga Love or after. I don't know. We'll see what my budget will allow next week. But yes, I am really excited to recommend Magus of the Library to you because it is one that is grossly underrated in the manga online community, and more people need to give it a try. Next up is one that I love and I talked about in my recent wrap-up, and that is Living Room Matsunagasaan. Living Room Matsunagasaan is another age gap shoujo. Sorry guys, I like age gaps. You just get to deal. In this, we follow Miko, and Miko is a young woman who moves into this boarding house owned by her uncle because I don't remember the circumstances with her parents. I don't remember if they travel for work or there's another reason. I can't remember offhand. But at this boarding house, her uncle travels a lot for work. That's why she's going to the boarding house instead of to his home. And the manager of the boarding house is Matsunagasaan. Matsunagasaan is a mid-20s guy, and he is a graphic designer. He works from home typically, and they have a lot of really cute interactions, and Miko clearly has feelings for Matsunagasaan, and things go from there. It's really innocent and really sweet, and I really like it. You do see Matsunagasaan without his shirt quite a bit, especially in this first volume, and yes, it's fantastic. Highly recommend checking out the series. There's only one physical volume out, but if you want to check it out digitally, there's 6 out currently, and I think 7's coming out soon. I don't remember when. But yes, definitely check out Living Room Matsunagasaan. And last but not least for this, I have a whole reaction vlog dedicated to this. You probably know what it is by now, and that is The Rose of Versailles by Ryoko Ikeda, and this is a fantastic manga that centers around the period in time in France of Marie Antoinette. So I want to say it's like mid 1400s or late 1400s. I don't remember. But we primarily follow Marie Antoinette and the lovely Oscar, who is a soldier for Marie Antoinette. But Oscar is a woman who was raised as a man. I use the pronouns they with Oscar because I never know, and Oscar answers to both. So I go with they for Oscar because that's just what works for me. But they are thirsted after completely by everybody in this series, and it cracks me up to no end. This is basically a giant drama fest, but I'm here for it. And the art is absolutely stunning. I mean, this first page, I mean, come on. It's beautiful. It's stunning. I love it. And this edition done by Udon was fantastic. So highly recommend this as well. And I will be continuing on as they publish, as this is the only one that is currently published. So friends, these are the manga that I'm going to be recommending to you in this particular video. I hope you guys will check out the other recommendations that are up in the cards, so that you guys can get a full spectrum of recommendations from me and find something that appeals to you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be participating in the Manga Love Readathon or if you're just here for some good recommendations. Thanks again for watching. If you're new, please subscribe and click the little bell so you know when I post new videos. This is YouTube, so you guys know what to do. I'll talk to you later. Bye.